Hello, Saints. We're in the book of Amos talking about the different nations around Israel and the indictments that God is placing on them. We've done several so far, and now today we're going to look at Moab. Moab now is down around on the other side of the Dead Sea on the south, and they're related. We read stories there in Kings where, I'm sorry, Samuel, where David goes down to find protection there. We see the story of Ruth coming back from the area of Moab. So, but yet they are not always friends with God's people. He says here, Amos writes in chapter 2, thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Moab and for 4, I will not revoke its punishments. Their punishments are coming. God is not going to let them get off the hook. He says, because he burned the bones of the king of Edom in lime, so I will send fire upon Moab, and I will consume the citadels of Kerioth, and Moab will die amid turmoil, and the war cries and the sound of a trumpet. I'll also cut off the judge from her midst, and slay all her princes with him, says the Lord. And so he continues on with the judgment. Now this is the regular nations around them, Edom and Moab, etc., Syria to the north. What we've got next coming here is now he's bringing it home. Chapter 2, beginning in verse 4, is a call against Judah. Now that's the little kingdom of the south, there with Jerusalem. Up north is the 10 tribes we call Israel. So you have Israel up north, Judah in the south. And he begins with Judah. Verse 4, chapter 2, thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Judah, and for 4 I will not revoke its punishments, because they rejected the law of the Lord, and have not kept its statutes. Their lies also have led them astray, those after which their fathers walked. So will I send fire upon Judah, and it will consume the citadels of Jerusalem. So God's anger here and his indictments are not all one way. Remember, these are the people of God he made a covenant with, and as long as they follow the covenant, they enjoy the covenant blessings. But if they step outside the covenant, they enjoy the covenant cursings. That's a little twist on words. But also keep in mind, that's part of the exile, when he sends them back to Babylon. Remember, Abraham was out of Babylon. That's where he came, from the city of Ur. And so what he's basically saying to them when they're deported, he says, if you don't want to stay and live within the covenant in the promised land, I'll send you back where I got you. And that's the threat. So right now the indictment's on Judah. And then next is Israel. Thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Israel and for 4, I will not revoke its punishment, because they sell the righteous for money and the needy for a pair of sandals. Those who paint after the very dust of the earth and the head of the helpless all turn aside the way of humble. And a man and his father resort to the same girl, in order to profane my holy name. On garments taken as pledges, they stretch out before every altar, and in the house of their God, they drink the wine of those who have been fined. He says, yet it was I who destroyed the Amorites before them. And I'll continue that on next week, because the first part's an indictment. The next part is what God does for them. And then what he does for them, it has further indictment for Israel. It's like it's even worse than Judah. Stay with me. Blessings.